Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna. So we're here. Is it?
We're here now.
It's about coming at 7 p.m. Nice, it's nice out here. So, so we're here in Russell Square.
It's nice, and we're here, and it's 7 p.m. So there you go.
So we're going to start. We're on Canto 3, but we're starting a new chapter. The title is Chapter 11, and the title is Calculation of Time from the Atom. So it's quite, I've got a hornet on me. Because there was a hornet. I feel it. Anyway. Om Namo
Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. No hornets, no problem.
Right. Next one. The material manifestation's ultimate particle, which is indivisible and not formed into a body, is called the atom. It exists always as an invisible identity, even after the dissolution of all forms. No, there's something on me.
It's not. I'm just worried that this sound isn't picking up so well, but it is. It's picking up fine.
Right.
That's what I keep looking at. I keep thinking, is it close enough?
Right.
Because you talk quietly.
Yeah, I'm a lady. Right. It exists always as an invisible identity, even after the dissolution of all forms. The material body is but a combination of such atoms, but it is misunderstood by the common man. Coco. The atomic description of the Srimad Bhagavatam is almost the same as the modern science of atomism, and this is further described in the Paramanu Vada of Kannada. In modern science also, the atom is accepted as the ultimate indivisible particle of which the universe is composed. Srimad Bhagavatam is the full text of all descriptions of knowledge, including the theory of atomism. The atom is a minute subtle form of eternal time. Interesting.
So it's quite amazing in the pages of the Bhagavatam. You see that the whole, there's been so much discussion about the macrocosm from the perspective of the creation of the entire universe. But here we see that now it's going into the microcosm, down to the minutest building block or building particle of the material energy, which is the atom. And that's being discussed in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So everything is there in the Bhagavatam.
Yeah, and this text is so old.
Yeah, it's not like this is written 50 years ago or 60 years ago. In one sense it was translated then, but the original text is obviously written down over 5,000 years ago, but been around for much longer than that. Yeah. Text 2. Atoms are the ultimate state of the manifest universe. When they stay in their own forms without forming different bodies, they are called the unlimited oneness. There are certainly different bodies and physical forms, but the atoms themselves form the complete manifestation. What do you have to say about that?
Nothing. Please keep reading.
Okay. One can estimate time by measuring the movement of the atomic combination of bodies. One can estimate time by measuring the movement of the atomic combination of bodies. Time is the potency of the Almighty Personality of Godhead, Hari, who controls all physical movement, although He is not visible in the physical world. Yeah, so time, how do we know that time is passing? How do you know time? We talk about time, but it's kind of invisible. How do we know time is passing? Well, this says, by measuring the movement of the combination of the atomic particles. So, we see a plant growing, that shows us time is passing. We see cars moving, or we're in a car moving, time is passing. We look at our watch, or we see the sun moving, going from day into night. We know time is passing. We look at a calendar because, again, the movement of the sun, day and night, or the changes of the moons, phases of the moon, we know time is passing, right? Mm-hmm. Otherwise, time is kind of invisible. We only notice time because of the movement of things, mm-hmm. right? Now we're in the park and everything's green and lush, but in 5 months everything will be dying again. And
so we notice time due to its effect,
yes,
on matter.
Yes. And it says time is the potency of the Almighty Personality of Godhead, because Krishna is Kala, he is time. He says in the Bhagavad Gita, time I am, the destroyer of worlds. And it controls all, because he controls all physical movement. He is not visible. This is the Lord, is not visible, although he's the supreme controller, he's not visible in this world. Text 4. Atomic time is measured according to its covering a particular atomic space. Okay? So again, an atom, or the composition of atoms into a body passing across or through space, is how atomic time is measured. That time which covers the unmanifest aggregate of atoms is called the great time. Not like we're having a great time, but the great time, like the Maha, Paramo Mahan. Sakalaha Paramo Mahan. Time, Parama, the supreme, Mahan, the great. So the great time. So time which covers the unmanifest aggregate of atoms is called the great time. Okay, there's a purport. Let's see what Prabhupada has to say. Time and space are two correlative terms. Means they correlate, right? Time and space, they link together. Time is measured in terms of its covering a certain space of atoms. Standard time is calculated in terms of the movement of the sun. The time covered by the sun in passing over an atom is calculated as atomic time. The greatest time of all covers the entire existence of the non-dual manifestation. All the planets rotate and cover space, and space is calculated in terms of atoms. Each planet has its particular orbit for rotating, in which it moves without deviation, and similarly the sun has its orbit. The complete calculation of the time of creation, maintenance, and dissolution, measured in terms of the circulation of the total planetary systems until the end of creation, is known as the supreme Kala. Wow. Thoughts?
I'm just reading to get purified at this stage.
Yeah.
Like the illiterate Brahmin.
Yeah, okay. So this is interesting because time is measured differently for different things, right? So they say like a dog, like humans and dog, time is different. The experience of time, the manifestation of time. There was just an ant crawling on me. An ant's life is different, and its experience of time is, or our experience of time for the ant. Maybe the ant's experience of time is very similar, but it happens a lot faster for us. So like a dog, they say it's 7 years to 1 human year for a dog, or 7 human years to 1 year for a dog. So if a dog is 7 years old, you've had the dog for 7 years, it's equivalent of 49 years old in human terms. So time is experienced differently, so there are different measurements of time. And the universal time, which is something that we don't really experience, but if you move out from the perspective of watching the whole universe unfolding, and then that's a whole different experience of time. And that's non-different from Krishna. That is the supreme Kala. So anyway, there's a lot of information. You have to be a very scientifically minded person to get into this. Go ahead.
Text 5. The division of gross time is calculated as follows. 2 atoms make 1 double atom.
Got that?
And 3 double atoms make 1 hex atom. This hex atom is visible in the sunshine, which enters through the holes of a window screen.
So I remember when I first read this, it made me realize that actually I used to sit and see these little things. Sometimes you can see them floating in the air. And you wonder, what is it? Is that a real thing, or is that just a figment of my visual information? But actually, it's a hex atom. You can see hex atoms visible in the sunshine, which enters through the holes of a window screen. It's far out.
So, just finishing that verse, one can clearly see that the hex atom goes up towards the sky. Oh, powerful. The atom is described as an invisible particle, but when 6 such atoms combine together, they are called a trasarenu, and this is visible which is the hex atom, and this is visible in the sunshine pouring through the holes of a window screen.
So next time you're near a window screen in the sunshine, which may be difficult if you're in England, for 2 reasons. One, because they hardly have screens in this country that I've seen. And also because you hardly see the sun. Okay, so text 6. The time duration needed for the integration of 3 trasarenas is called a truti. And 100 trutis makes 1 Veda. 3 Vedas makes 1 Lava. Lava Matra. That's like a moment's association. Lava Matra. Sarva Siddhi Koi. I know, how's it go? I always get it wrong. Anyway, Sadhu Sangha. Sarva Siddhi Koi. Lava Matra. Something. Yeah, so a moment's association with a pure devotee. It is calculated that if a second is divided into 1,687.5 parts, 1 second is divided into 1,687.5 parts, each part is the duration of a truti. So, the subdivision of 1 second. Now, of course, it's time. The Olympics are going on in Japan, and, people are winning races by like milliseconds, and that's what gives them the gold or the silver or the bronze. So, if you divide 1 second by 1,687.5 parts, you get a truti. I mean, time. Who's experiencing time like that? Well, maybe the ants are. I don't know. Which is the time, it says, so that's a truti, which is the time occupied in the integration of 18 atomic particles. Okay. Such a combination of atoms into different bodies creates the calculation of material time. The sun is the central point for calculating all different durations. So the sun is the central point for calculating all different durations. Yeah, ultimately, the rising and setting of the sun is how we see time. Okay.
Text 7. The duration of time of 3 lavas is equal to 1 nimisa. The combination of 3 nimisa makes 1 kasana. 5 kasanas combined together make 1 kashta. And 15 kashtas make 1 lagu.
Not ladu, but lagu.
You got that, right?
There'll be a test at the end.
Right, yeah. Purport. By calculation, it is found that 1 lagu is equal to 2 minutes.
Oh, so lagu is 2 minutes.
The atomic calculation of time in terms of Vedic wisdom may be converted into present time with this understanding.
Oh, okay. So basically, what we know of seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, like that, you can convert it if you understand that 1 lagu is equal to 2 minutes. But I think as we go on, I think that's actually mentioned and discussed. So let's see. Read a couple of more verses. Okay. 15 lagus, lagu, not ladu, but lagus, make 1 nadika, which is also called a danda. 2 dandas make 1 muhurta. Now, muhurta is a term we often hear of, like, we try to chant Gayatri on the muhurta. So it's a time.
Moment. Translated as moment, a moment.
Yeah.
We say
Make 1 muhurta.
auspicious moment during Mongol time.
And 6 or 7 dandas make 1/4 of a day or night according to human calculation. The measuring pot for 1 nadika or danda can be prepared with a 6 pala weight, 14-ounce pot of copper in which a hole is bored with a gold probe weighing 4 masa and measuring 4 fingers long. When the pot is placed in water, the time before the water overflows in the pot is called 1 danda. Wow. You know what I mean? That's how, this is what you have to do to be able to measure time. So how long did it take? Oh, it was 1 danda. Oh, I could fill a pot, a water pot, copper water pot in that amount of time. Purport. It is advised herein that the bore in the copper measuring pot must be made with a probe weighing not more than 4 masa and measuring no longer than 4 fingers. This regulates the diameter of the hole. The pot is submerged in water, and the overflooding time is called a danda. This is another way of measuring the duration of a danda, just as time is measured by sand in a glass. So there you go. We're all familiar with that example. What's it called? A time. What's it called?
Hourglass.
An hourglass. Yes, that's it. Well, I mean, yeah. Okay. It appears that in the days of the Vedic civilization there was no dearth of knowledge in physics, chemistry, or higher mathematics. Measurements were calculated in different ways as simply as could be done. Ant program here.
No, we're not. It's a flying monster.
Oh, flying monster. Okay. All right. Do we want to come back to this or keep going?
Yeah, let's ruminate over what we've just read.
Okay. So we're
And
going to take
next time we meet, no pun intended, we can continue.
All right. Thank you all very much for tuning in and reading the Bhagavatam with us and hearing. We hope to see you next time. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.